Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. My name is Dawn. I'm so glad to have you here today and so glad to have my good friend, Miss Andrika, in the house. Look at that pretty green you're wearing today. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
absolutely. In the wintertime, we were just talking about how cold it is where we both are right now. It's ridiculous. I'm not a
Yeah,
cold weather fan.
no, me either. I love snow and cold weather, like the week of Christmas,
Yeah,
specifically Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. And then
right.
that's enough.
And now it can become 80 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with
Almost like a Hallmark channel, like there's the snow. Move on. But
It's very Hallmark. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, but I think
Well,
God, I don't really care if you like snow like that. But we've just had rain. We've only had one snow, but the
mhm.
rain has been like
Yeah.
annoying.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking at as we're taping today. I'm looking out, it's pretty gray and dismal. So it's
Yeah.
lovely to see your smiling, wonderful, sweet, green, beautiful, demure, like just your being. You're
Oh,
such a great person. I
th-
enjoy you. You make me laugh, and I love all my time that I have spent with you. Seriously, you're one of my favorite people ever. This is why I wanted to have you on the podcast to share you with all the listeners. And we're in year 3 of the podcast. I'm really excited about it. And this year brings different subjects each week that we're talking about. This week, I wanted you to come on and talk about family and family connections specifically, because when I think about family connections, there's a lot of us that don't have great connections. We don't have a lot of those ties. And I think sometimes we miss out on those ties because we miss the mark on connecting. And sometimes we don't have the luxury of having bloodline relatives to connect with. So we take it a step further in connecting. How do we connect to people that aren't our family? And I look at you as being such, I like if we looked that up in an encyclopedia, your face would be there, because
oh,
you're such a connector of people and such a connector to people that I really feel like you can speak to the subject beautifully about the importance of connecting with your bloodline family, obviously, and comparing the two, how you set boundaries with that, how you navigate conflict within that, but also how you choose your family. So, if we don't have the luxury of having a bloodline family, how do we search out those connections? Where do we find them? What's important where that's concerned, and how to nurture them and really foster them? So, I'm really glad that you agreed to come on and talk about this wonderful topic and how we can all benefit from it, because I think that it's hearing other people's perspectives and other people's experiences where we actually learn about ourselves, and we can actually think, maybe there's a way that I haven't thought about. And so Miss Andrika is going to talk about that today. And maybe there's something in there that I can pull from and go, all right, I may be disconnected. I may feel disheartened with my current family or with my friends that are like my family. How can I navigate that? What can I do to shift my perspective and my viewpoint of that? And how do I choose those family members, to really be supportive and to really plug into, and for me to nurture and support them as well? So,
right.
yeah, I'm excited. And I will say, like, we met through, like, our families met through our girls. So, family to family. I feel like it
Yeah,
was kind of a fun connection there.
I know, I know. And we have likewise in common, like two girls, the oldest daughter, youngest daughter. My girls are just 17 months apart. So oftentimes people ask, are they twins? I'm sure the Cunninghams have been asked too because they play volleyball all the time.
Yeah.
Are they twins? And so, and I'm sure Amanda being like Landon, I mean, it's always a compliment to the younger sibling, but not to the older sibling.
You
Because Landon's always like, I'm older, and no, we're not twins. So,
right?
but of course, the younger sibling, it's always, especially the younger they are, it's always a huge compliment if someone thinks you're twins with your big sister. So,
My
uh,
gosh, yeah. Have you ever had it where your girls, like, the younger one has been accused of being older than the older one?
yes.
Like,
Well,
that's happened.
yeah, because of, I mean, Lennox is taller than Landon. So people, even though Landon has gotten this down to a science, if people are siblings, she's like, she can like guess right away. She's like, you're older, you're the younger one, and by this amount of years. And it's so funny. And people are like, how did she do that? She's like,
She's a
"I-
magician.
I'm the younger, I'm the shorter, older sibling. So
Yeah.
but it's funny, I'm older, but it's a much wider age gap with me and my sisters. I'm taller than my sister. So, but so
Okay.
I'm like, it throws it off that way. She's like, well, usually I'm right, Mom, but most of the time, but
Well,
she,
share with me, what does, if I say the words family connection, what does that personally mean for you? Like what, when you hear that term?
so family connection, I would say for personally here in our family, um, there's nothing unturned, no subject that cannot be talked about. It literally, even Carrie will say, like, I mean, we've always been like that. Growing up, it was kind of like, kind of secretive, like, what goes on this house stays in this house.
Mhm.
Like kind of, I think that's kind of a generational thing.
I agree totally. Yeah.
And so, but literally, if you come to it, even like if you come to our house, people, you will not, your head will turn at conversations that might fly out, usually from the girl's mouth. And it's like, whoa, and sometimes Kira's like, can we get a disclaimer before that? So I always tell people, especially if it's your first time coming, I'm like, just so you know, we are a very open book.
Mhm.
And our girls ask us something, literally, it's like, it can be, I mean, we're very truthful, and it's not like we're going to kind of hide,
Mhm.
hide
Have you
whatever
guys
the
always
subject.
been like that though? You've always
We
been an open book like that with them.
we've always been like that. I mean, even to the fact where like the birds and the bees conversation, like I said, the girls are just 17 months apart.
Mhm.
And I remember um, Lennox actually saying, well, Mom didn't really give me the real talk. She just kind of watered mine down. So we had like a little mom and me date. We went for
Yeah.
pizza, and I said, well, I heard that you thought I didn't give you the real talk. And she was at first like, no, no. I was like, so this is the real talk. So between our drive from home to Blaze Pizza, that's where we're going, she literally lost her appetite. She got her pizza to go. I ate mine there. I was fine. But she was like, yeah, I don't have it. I'll eat mine later because I'm
Yeah.
grossed out. I'm like, so
Well, was that generationally, if you think about your connection, like you have siblings of your own and you guys are super tight, but you're not, you're the distance in age is
mhm.
different, you said,
Yes,
right? So,
nine. It's not so 9 years between my sister Jamie, and then 13 years between Jordan and I. And so
wow.
literally, I mean, it was kind of like a mini mom, within, like, I mean, Jordan, even one of her fondest memories is like when she was being disciplined, I was home from college, and, I kind of, in the process, stopped the process of her being disciplined. And we had to escape to my aunt and uncle's house because then it hit me like, I might be the first college student to get a spanking. Like, yeah, we got to run, we got to go. So, but
We're out of here.
yeah, so a huge big, age gap, 9 years and 13 years. And I think so, like I've been given Nick, people always say, oh my gosh, Miss Andrika is the mama bear of mama bears. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I've
You're
always
not
been,
wrong. Mhm.
yes. I mean, and I will mama bear, like if I see a parent at a tournament, like doing too much with their kid, mama bear might swoop in, like, and certainly the parent is looking like, I thought this was my child. Well, no, we share custody of your child because you're on our
Yes.
turf. But
Right, right.
that's, I think that's just because I'm so much older than my sister. So it's just natural for me to just be nurturing and kind of a protector and not want people to be like hurt, harmed, left out. That's really a big one too. Like me
Yeah.
wanting to make sure everybody's included, even
Yeah.
sometimes when they might not want to be included, they might just want to sit and read a book. And I'm like, why are you over there by yourself? Come on over with us. And, my girls are,
Well, right. Well, talk about the age difference. That's really interesting
yeah.
that you brought that up. How, I mean, how have you nurtured those relationships from that generation, from you with your sisters and the different age and the age group or the age difference actually that's apart? Because I think about your girls now, they're super tight. That
Mhm.
family bond is so strong. And part of it is probably because they're close together age-wise, but I know you have also fostered that with them. So tell me about you growing up with your roots and your family connection and how you foster that and how that works for you now. Like, was it always really tight? Was it always really close? Were there times where it was a struggle to connect with your siblings or your parents because of age differences or other circumstances?
So I think for me, okay, so my mom is the youngest, sorry. There's 11 of them. And
Oh, wait.
yes, 11. So holidays were always so much fun, right?
Oh my gosh.
But her and her twin are 10 and 11. So they are the bookends of the 11 kids. And my mom is the 11th. She's the youngest of the twin.
Mhm.
And always seeing how like close, no matter, even though it was 11 of them, like, I mean, 7 girls, 4 boys, I mean, 7 girls, 4 boys, they were a close knit family. Like my grandmother was like very adamant, like, family. She always called herself rich, even though you would look around like, I don't see what's very rich about it. But for her, it meant we're rich because I'm with my family, And so
Mhm.
that's something that I would love to hear her say that at holidays, like, I'm so rich, and people
Mhm.
that weren't in our family didn't understand what that meant because it can kind of sound like boastful or
Right.
braggish, but she was not at all talking about material things. For her, it always was holidays. If it was someone's graduation, it was a wedding, it was everyone being together. And
Right.
that's something I always felt because we didn't live at the time growing up. I was born in Macon, Georgia, grew up in Albany, Georgia, and then moved back to Macon my sophomore year in high school. And I would cry every single time we left Macon because we had no family in Albany, Georgia. And
Mm.
so, but whenever I was in Georgia, in Macon, like that's where all of my aunts and uncles and my grandmother and my cousins, everybody was there. But in Albany, it was just us. Like,
Yeah.
and I just felt like it was so just, even though it was just us, I'm like, this is so bland, quiet, boring, because
Yeah.
it's no, my family's not here.
Hmm.
Well, Carrie, he is the youngest of four. He has three older sisters and then himself, and then he has two adopted brothers. His family, I mean, I always thought, oh my God, look at that. Like your immediate family is just big, loud. I love loud. It's big,
Yeah.
loud, it's just together. Like he really didn't have to do so much with his like cousins and all of, he didn't have to do as much because they're just right underneath one roof was a lot of people in itself.
Right.
And his parents were right there in itself. So I always thought, wow, that's so, amazing. So Carrie and I, because there's no family here in Knoxville, he's from Alabama, I'm from Georgia. From day one, we knew what family meant to both of us. Like even before we got married, just dating, we knew what family meant to each of us. And we taught our girls like literally, and I think because I'm the oldest, and it's such an age difference, I never fought with my sisters. Like I would have looked ridiculous fighting with, like I
Right.
mean that would have just looked ridiculous. Now they fought, the two of them fought.
The
And
younger ones did.
yes, and to see my mom like navigate, she would just let them just have it out. She would close the door like, I don't want to hear it. And it's like, as long as there's no blood, nothing dangling, we don't have to go to the emergency room, it's
For
fine.
good. Yeah.
And I remember even then I was like, oh, I wish they wouldn't fight, because I
Mhm.
longed to have a sister and I wanted sisters. Like I was something about, I just don't want a brother. Just a sister. I think I was just meant to be a girl sister, girl mom, that's just,
Mhm.
Well, with Carrie, by him being the youngest and four sisters, three older sisters, he was the one like antagonizing, the old, the
Yeah, totally different from
yeah,
where you were.
completely different, but like, but his family was they were so close knit, and of
Mhm.
course he was the boy that they all longed for. Like I
Mhm.
love hearing his mom tell the story. Like she got a dozen of roses when the girls were born, but I got 2 dozen of roses when Carrie was born. So
Oh,
I know, right? So sweet. but for us, we knew like with the girls, we would always tell them if something happens to dad or I or both of us, you're all each other. You're it.
Mhm.
It's just the two
Yeah,
of you.
right.
So we would say, no one comes before the two of you. Like, no, I don't want to hear, oh, so and so's my best friend, and I'm choosing them over Landon or choosing them over Lennox. We're like, no, you are the two of you come first. The
Mhm.
four of us, this is our core. And
Yep.
so if one person is hurting in the family, we're all hurting,
Mm.
and we've always been like that. I mean, people have asked us like I remember like Lennox used to be a competitive gymnast. We lived apart as a family in North Carolina, and we would leave on Monday, come back on Wednesday so we could pick Landon up from school, eat dinner as a family, and head right back out on Thursday and wouldn't come back until Saturday. We would do that over and over. And then
Mm.
it was really Lennox that was like, I'm tired of being away from my family.
Same
I
thing.
miss my
Yeah.
sister. And for some reason, she was tired of being homeschooled. I guess it was her teacher. And um, and she was like, I want to start the new school that Landon started. I want to be with my sister. Like
Right.
for her, it was like she just missed Landon. And that was something that was so sweet to us that it was just like, wow, like, and even now, like our girls, I mean, you can just tell like the countdown when they're going to see each other. And,
Mhm.
it's been too long, and FaceTiming, like our family FaceTime will pop up, and they're sometimes Kara and I, we're like, up. We were trying to get it because we're like, well,
Yeah.
I thought we were all talking, but it's the two of them talking. And
I love
literally,
that you have a family FaceTime, by the way.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And literally, like, I don't think Lennox makes a social media post without Landon giving her the caption. Like,
Mhm.
her Christmas list. I mean, we've always been like this, you can only ask for 3 gifts. Of course they get more than 3 gifts, but you can only ask for 3.
Mhm.
Jesus got 3 gifts. You can only, so we would always do that. And Lennox still to this day, like it cracks Carrie and I up. Ever since she was little, they would sit at the kitchen table, make their list. Landon, we're like, we said three items. Why are there 30? Like, stop, And Lennox has always been like this,
She's
copying.
looking.
Yes. And
Yeah.
even now, like
Yeah.
we're like, y'all are in 2 different climates. You
Yeah.
need to pick whatever you're wanting. And she's like, well, I want to see Landon's list first. And we just think that's just a huge, like, compliment that
Mhm.
that's how close they are. Even,
Yeah.
sometimes it drives Landon crazy. She's like, do your own thing, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
but it's intentional choosing, you know what I'm saying? That's what I
yeah,
hear you saying. It's very intentional.
yes,
And it's that choosing that really makes you part of a system that feels supportive, loving, and very like you have a place in the world and
yes.
you have value within that unit. And I think that's so important. So tell me a little bit about, and we'll come back to, I want to come back to the girls because you said something I want to, I want to come back to here in a second. But tell me a little bit about choosing family that's outside of your bloodline and how that lines up with that same intentional choosing that you guys put into your bloodline family.
Well,
I've seen it
like
happen.
we have to. I mean, like I said, we've lived here. So we've lived in Knoxville 23 years now.
Mhm.
Well, December will be, well, this is December, duh, it's the second. But this will be 23 years that we would have lived in Knoxville. The longest that, either one of us have lived in our hometown.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we have, friends that are the girls, this that we call them auntie and uncle. And if they're like, oh, I thought your sisters lived in, like, yes, but we have to have the faux aunties and uncles and cousins, because when Carrie did an international assignment in England, and literally, like, those were friends that it was like we had no family here that we had to lean on and count
Mhm.
on, and been there since before the girls were born. And so it's so exciting to watch them too, pour into the girls, to reach out to the girls and to help us in, times of need. But the same way, like think because I moved a lot as a kid with schools, for me, I always want to make sure. And so I always tell people, like, you're only new, the first time when you meet someone. After that, it's like, okay, and I always kind of start off like we're family, even though some people are like, oh my gosh, like I am not a hugger. And here comes Miss Andrika with
the hug.
Yeah. Like not even asking, like, and the girls are like, they're not really huggers. I'm like, well, too late. And I'm going to convert them. But we are big with that. Like there's never, you never know who's going to be here, like even when the girls are staying here, like you just got to be ready and dressed, just in case someone is, dad brings someone home, I bring someone home, the girls bring someone home, because we want this to feel like, everyone's welcome. But even with that, like with P1440, I'll never forget when I was given the name, and this is kind of like even when I was just like a volunteer, the P1440 Beach Mama, and so it was like, and literally, like, I remember, like, really, like, my job description was centered around the P1440 Beach Mama. But of course, it was like, okay, we probably should professionalize this a little bit because
give you a title. Yeah.
That can't be my email, signature. But it was just how I just naturally just want to make sure other people are included, because I know what it feels like not to be included, and so I never want someone to feel like that, or to, even if your parents are there and it's like, people know, like, oh my gosh, I need a Band-Aid, I got it, I'm going to take care of anything to make sure that people are, taken care of, in any aspect, if I'm in the presence.
Yeah, well, you said it, like included. I think that's such a big piece, and that's such a big word for so many of us, that we want to feel like we're a part of something. And if you don't feel connected in a family unit for some reason, for whatever that is on your bloodline, then choosing those connections is really vital to be able to grow as a person and to feel loved and to really feel like, hey, I can do it. When you have somebody that you feel like somebody's got your back. I mean, don't you feel like invincible?
Oh yeah,
I can do that.
Oh yeah, and it's like, it's the moment, like if you get sick, or if your parent is late picking you up, or like who's going to be your contact person that you're going to turn to, like, I got it, like, she's got me, or he's, like, you want to be that person. I always want to be that person, if something happens,
Why
so
do you
like
think
secure.
why do you think people just don't do that? Like, why do you think people hold back from connecting? Because if I think about it, like, I've had friends in my life that I feel like I really have to pursue and I really have to push. And once they kind of come out of their shell, it's great. You got to give them their space. But I feel like there are certain people that just have this hold back, and there's so much that they could be experiencing by stepping out and being vulnerable, maybe, or allowing that choice and that warmth and that love to come to them and connect with them. It's really about connecting.
Right. I think, one, it's probably how they were raised. Like if they're a little guarded, it's kind of like, okay, it's a little warm up before you start just being, with someone, versus, even Carrie will tell me sometimes, he's like, sometimes maybe you should just kind of warm up, to people, versus, me being the jack in the box, but I think sometimes people are reserved, or it might be past hurt that they've had. Like, okay, I did that and that did not work. And I've had that happen too, where I'll say, so-and-so really hurt me, and I'm not going to do this next time. And the girls and Carrie looking like, that's just not in your nature. Like, you'll meet someone at the grocery store and now they're my new friend, and
they're coming over for dinner.
Or she probably walked away like, oh my gosh, that lady would not stop talking on aisle 10. Like, I just said, excuse me, but so I think it's a combination of things. It can be like either that's not their upbringing, or it's just not their personality, or past things that happened to them that they're just like, I'm just not going to let myself be vulnerable like that again.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the benefits that you personally have received from people connecting to you and plugging in and pouring into you that aren't your family. Because obviously we know like your family is tight. Like they mean the world to you. And from what you've said, it's generational. Like it started that way. That's kind of your roots and where you were grown in. So if you think about the benefit of people that are outside of that bloodline family for you, what have been the benefits that you have seen and felt and received personally by those connections that you have chosen?
Well, I would just say just deep, like deep, true friendships, that it might, neither one of you are really benefiting, like nothing to gain. It's just you, literally, it can just be just true, just laughter, or we're making, something in common that our kids either have in common, our husbands have in common. And it's just, but to me, it's like when you get in a time of need, like, oh, okay, now Landon's going to be away from home here. Who do I know in that area? Oh my gosh, I can reach out to that mom that I was laughing with. Like she has someone that she knows in the area, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
and it's showing your kids too, like, oh, how to connect the dots,
Yes.
piecing things together. Because I've seen mom do this, or when I've, got in a rut, like, okay, I need help with something. It's showing them too, like, oh yeah, let me connect, these two,
Yeah.
nothing more. Because my girls are always like, Mom, can we please just go into this store? Please don't know anybody. Please don't talk to anybody. We're just trying to go in and out. Carrie will say the same thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm,
I can't do that.
yes. And I love to see when, even if I'm not, around, and it's happening to them, like, oh, I
Mhm.
saw so and so. And they said, I get a picture or selfie from the person or the girls, or even now that they're at school, they're like, Mom, guess who I saw here at this game? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm,
Yes.
so, or
You're a living example for them. That's
yeah,
the thing. And I
yeah,
love that because that's going to create that behavior and that habit and that, well, we'll call it a tradition for
yeah,
them to move
yeah.
forward in their lives, which is great. Do you know my family calls me the never leaver? Like they have to send Pat, oh, as my husband laughs and says, we have to send either me or one of the girls in after you because after we've been at a function and we're all saying goodbye and mom is not behind us walking to the
Yes,
car and she's
yeah,
stopped talking and
yeah,
she's like she's engaged. So I'm you and I think we're kindred spirits on the
yeah. Yeah.
on one of the relievers.
Carrie always says, how are we the first one here to set up and we're the last ones, like, it's down? He was like, it should be like a benefit, like you get a pass, like we were here first, you get to leave first. He was like, and then within my family, like, my family calls me Pharaoh.
What do they
Like
call you?
if you come and visit us, it's called Pharaoh. Like she
Okay.
won't let her people go. Yeah. Because like if you say, oh, we're coming and we're gonna stay until Wednesday, I already in my mind is like, ooh, there's this, we could do this on Thursday. Maybe I can talk her into this on Thursday. Like literally, usually no one's trip ever ends. Even if you say we're leaving by 1, I'm like, oh, I can move that to, oh, you gotta stay for dinner,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, that's
So
so endearing and it's so welcoming. And I think that's the big piece that for some people it's hard for them to step into that welcoming nature and to really be that persona and kind of take on that thing. But gosh, when you can do that, like your relationships really thrive and they really benefit. And I feel like what you're saying is that that's really been a big piece for you along the way. Talk to me though about conflict and boundaries and navigating those either within your bloodline or with you know those family connections outside of it. How do you, I mean, okay, so if we talk boundaries, like I can say I can say this about myself. What we just talked about. Like I don't know that my boundaries are great about like leaving, but I also don't mind staying. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
maybe it's a personal thing, a personal preference, but
yes.
I mean, how do you navigate the conflict like within your household and still retain that semblance of love, respect, appreciation, and that unity that you've created? Because I know a lot of people could have conflict and be like, this is for the birds. I don't want anything to do with you. I mean, you may have a cooling off period, but it never really comes back to where it was.
Right. So now if it's boundaries like harm or something, like, I am not good with that, because then it's like, oh, you've hurt someone in our family, and so then it's kind of like long memory
Yeah.
forever. The girls are like, Mom, she did that in third grade. I'm like, I don't care. I, you know, um,
I
so,
don't think moms ever forget.
oh yeah, mom,
We forgive, but I don't know that yeah, I think that memory is long
yeah,
for our
yeah,
kids.
yeah. Moms are like, why are you friends with her? Do you remember how she made you cry in third grade? Like, yeah, it's just a mom thing, where
Yeah, yeah.
they're like, I forgot
Yeah.
about it that day. Like, I didn't. um, but and then as far as boundaries, like, I'm really good with making sure, like, if it's something that, if it's a hard no, like protecting our family, it's a hard, I mean, I can embrace conflict probably the best of our family. I think that's with my sales background. Um, I can, and being the oldest, I can truly like embrace it,
Yeah.
where some people are kind of like, I'm never gonna be the one that's like, oh, so and so just walked all over, and tried to make sure. I have one daughter that she's gotten a lot better, but one that's a people pleaser, and one that does not have any people pleasing petals sprinkled around her.
Right.
So you can guess which one.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
But and so to me, like, trying to really, I've always, making sure, like, if it's something healthy, even conflict, if it's something that we've had within our family, not letting it go too long, like, confiding in at least one person, like, oh, so and so make me upset, and it's like, okay, I'm going to help that situation where we can all kind of, so it doesn't just keep just where it's like, now it's, it's beyond, we can't talk,
Beyond repair at that
yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah,
And then that disagreement turns into something that it never really was.
yeah,
But I think it really goes back to that intentionality that
yeah,
you have to be intentional about making that effort to do something about it and stepping into that. And I think some people are pretty uncomfortable with that. Like, I think
yeah,
that can be difficult. But if you can do that within your family, you can do that outside of your family too. Like with you're talking about, this is kind of how you are. But I gander, maybe you weren't always like that. Maybe you had to learn how to be that way. So it's possible to step into that intentional choosing and to
yeah,
really be like, this is what's important to me, and finding like what's important to you. You
right.
know?
Oh
And
yeah.
I think how has your view of family, since your girls are now in college, both of them are,
Mhm.
and I think about them being gone and your relationship with them, I know is just as strong as it was when they were there under your roof when both of
Mhm.
them were there. But how do you navigate your life now without them there? And this whole what's the viewpoint of family now? Is it more important? Has it shifted? Has it evolved in a different place for you or for them? Or tell me what that kind of looks like for you guys.
It's been so amazing to see, like, them walk into their own adult womanhood, even though you still think of them like, no, they're my kid, so they're not, and they're not anywhere 100% financial on their own, like, but it's been so, I think, like I said, they're only 17 months apart, 1 grade apart, so I got a good snapshot of this last year, and I think you even shared with me when Amanda left, like, oh, you just wait, and so it's been so awesome to see, like, Landon, like, when she came home last year for breaks, like, her coming out to the car, helping me unload, and I'm like, wait,
Wait, what happened?
I didn't even have to ask, like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, and so it was when I knew Lennox was leaving, even though I was sad for her to leave, I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait till that jumps on Lennox," and
Yeah.
but and it's still exciting to see, like, me being a part of their daily, like, I love if they FaceTime me first, even though they're like, well, I didn't get to FaceTime you first, Mom, because you FaceTime me 3 times today, But I love it if they beat me to the punch of FaceTiming or texting, and the on our group chat, family chat, when it's like good night, love y'all, or good morning. Like that's like the best to me, or that hearing how they problem solve something,
Yeah.
or still wanting me to be a part of helping that's my favorite too. Like, what do you think, Mom? This is what I was, this is what I was thinking. And so this is
Yes.
what I did, or, and it's like, okay. So that's the best because they don't have to do that.
Right. Right. They're on their own they're on their own ish. I'll put little
Yeah.
quotation marks around that. But they're
Right.
becoming their own people.
Right.
So that affects the brevity of your family unit and kind of
Right.
what that looks like. But it doesn't have to be bad. It's evolving in a positive way.
Right.
And, how have you developed your outside family connections since they've been gone? Have you done anything different? Have you engaged more friends? Have you plugged into a different community?
Well,
What are you doing for that?
I think because we have one daughter Lena's playing indoor.
Mhm.
And so that keeps us super busy in the fall. Like we literally leave like Thursday, Friday, and we're not back until like Sunday, Monday. And then Lennox had her preseason with, because Landon plays indoor volleyball, Lennox plays beach volleyball, but they had preseason, with beach as well. And then
Mhm.
we'll be super busy next semester with beach, with Lennox. So I think to me, it's like the whole empty nesting. It's like I really got the best of both worlds because it was like I just had to make it through the weekend. Like, okay, just have my hair
Yeah.
appointment, have these meetings, and I just got to make it through the week, and then boom, we're off to see Landon or Lennox, depending on who was having what that weekend.
Mhm.
We tried, and date nights have been like, because really we were not having date nights really, because it was unless like,
Yeah.
oh, the girls are gone, we'll go grab something. But
Yeah.
really being intentional, truly being intentional about reconnecting. And you want to make sure that it's someone that you love, because it's like
Yeah.
when they leave and the house is just you and the dogs, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
hey.
It's different. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's been great too, of us, Carrie's, he was super excited about the empty nesting, and he's like, I love it. When you ask, which I think I don't ever, as a mom, I don't want to say I love it, because it's like,
Mhm.
no, I love the house being full, especially like last week when everybody was home, and he did too. I mean, we were both, it just seemed like we were just in the kitchen on the grill, like cooking like nonstop, because we love
Yeah.
that. So
You're embracing
yeah,
that. But I hear what you're saying as you're embracing this time, and
yeah,
the family unit looks different because it has to, because it's shifting.
yes.
And you're still, as your grandmother would say, you're still so rich.
I know. And
So rich.
I love games. Like, I mean,
We do too, like family game night.
yeah, and it will drive people crazy. Like, where sometimes they're like, Mom, like my friends did not come over here to play with you. I'm like, well, I
I'll
thought
come to
you
your
did.
house. I
Yeah,
will come and play games all day
yes,
long.
yes. So, and it was so funny. Like, Landon actually said she misses that at school. And so I was like, let me go
Oh,
5 more new games since she said that. And so we played games, but I had to get really good at, because they're like, sometimes you don't know when to cut it off. So I'm like, okay, y'all want to play one more round or something different? And so, I think it's still so new for Lennox, where she's kind of like, Mom
still
is,
not quite there.
yeah, but
I'll come and play games with you if you
okay,
need me to. I'm
okay,
good with that. Hey, I
okay.
want to circle back. I don't want to let you go before I talk about this, because I remember at one point you sharing with me and then a couple other ladies in a little group that we have together, a fun little text group. But I think it was outside of that. We talked about um, being a girl mom, and specifically you were you spoke, and it may have been in a different group, but you talked about just being like, oh no, I can't be a girl mom. I am meant to be a boy mom. Like I am competitive. We're gonna have like this is how this is gonna be. And your husband was like, I'm gonna be like boys are the thing. Like, could you see yourself being a girl mom? You said that earlier. That
No, I could only see myself as a girl mom and did not want to play sports.
it was the sports. That's
Yes,
what it was.
yes,
It was the
yes,
sports. Oh my gosh. So now
yes,
you have two sporty spices.
yes. And
And
so
you were like, what am I gonna do with that?
yeah, and even probably I really wasn't even saying girl mom, but it was like the sports thing that I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
really don't know about. I mean, this was like premarital like counseling, and the elder at the church was like, just so you know, I think you better change your opinion on this because I think this is a deal breaker for him. Because Carrie was flying in town doing the sessions, and I was like, really? Like that is very like shallow of him. Like he was like, no. It's
Meaning he wanted to have his kids to grow
play
up in sports and
to
play
sport
sports.
because Carrie played
Okay.
every sport. I mean, think about it. 3 older sisters, then him. His mom was like, "You're gonna play a sport
Mhm.
every month. Like, get your energy out." Like he played everything,
Yeah.
And so, and I was just like, "Oh no!" Like, sweat, yuck, um, dirt, girls, and it was funny. Like I was like, definitely no track. Like, because I looked at like in school, like the girls that did track, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's sitting with her legs wide open. What's wrong with her? Like then I have a kid that's doing that now. Like I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have said
Oh,
that because
oh,
I got a kid that's doing that. And it was like, I'm really not into like the whole playing with the ball, like basketball, like that. And Landon played basketball for a minute, and I hated every single minute of it. Like I feel like Carrie like introduced it just to get on my nerves. Thankfully she fell in love more with volleyball, and she did volleyball first anyway, and then Carrie was like, let's throw basketball in there.
yeah.
But literally, it's so funny when people hear me say that and then seeing me live in action at watching my
At a
girls.
sporting event, watching them play. Yeah, it's
They're like,
different. Yeah.
they're like, you're the loudest one. Well, Carrie's the loudest one. He's always gonna be the loudest one. But like, like it's so funny to see how I quickly, and even the girls' preschool teacher, I remember they were two best friends that played they were basketball teammates in college, and they were like, we're on board with Carrie. We're gonna help with that. I'm like, no. We're gonna stick with ballet and gymnastics and swimming. And the girls were quickly like running in a
No.
different direction. So it's funny to hear me repeat that and then how I am now, because I cannot imagine it. Like even when people ask me like, oh, do you like indoor or beach better? I'm like, I love Landon completely being indoor and Lennox being completely beach, and so
Right.
it's like I was getting more nervous like when it's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be playing against each other, and I'm gonna have to sit there with you remember the days when they used to play each other and I would have to just sit there like,
You're like, you have to be stoic. You have to be very,
yes, like
very
I
yeah.
can't say good job everyone. They would say,
Everyone.
they're like, you're patronizing us. But Carrie could literally like, nice swing, good dig. I'm like, what? Your dad is cheering against you, but I had to sit there like I was blind and deaf, and so,
I
but
think that's
no,
the mom's plight, though.
yeah,
I think that's the mom's deal
yeah,
because my husband would get away with that
yeah,
probably with my kids more than I would. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, let's just talk about it. I mean, I think this whole family situation that you guys have going on is such a brilliant. I love the bond that you have, and I know the intention that is put behind creating that. And I love hearing about your roots and where you came from and how that has led into the importance of your family being so tight and
yeah,
then choosing other people to be around within that family unit and allowing that openness and allowing that welcomeness to kind of be a part of your whole brood. What are some of your favorite family traditions, either bloodline and or chosen family? What are some of the things that you go, this is a non-negotiable. This is what we're going to do. Or, hey, we tried this and it didn't work. So
I would say like holidays for us, like non-negotiable, like we're together, and like birthdays, like my girls wake up to, they're like being decorated and the balloons on the floor. Like they've always, everyone that's always been the thing. And even like Lennox's birthday's in the summer, so she's still home. Or we're together traveling somewhere. But Landon's birthday, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the first birthday and like I sent money to like one of her teammates and they did it for me and like video. And I was like, they was like, Mom, look what. So it was like still carrying on the traditions. And then like Christmas, like we've had family members like, don't y'all think now that y'all are older, you can go do this? And they're like, no, like we have to do all the traditional stuff on, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Like it's so just the holidays and like birthdays and celebrations, like things that we just have, and even game time. Like even though sometimes like Lennox is not letting on that she likes it, like we have to do certain games because it's like, oh, that's what we do with our family, so
it's bonding and
yeah,
it's habitual and it's something to look forward to. It's something to really go like, I know this is going to happen
yeah,
and I know how I feel when that happens. And again, I just really think it goes back to that choosing. You have to choose it. You have to facilitate it and really dive into making it happen, because it would be really easy to just not do that stuff. It'd
right,
be really easy to walk away from it, but when you do walk away from it, then you lose those bonds and you lose those connections. And you're always going to be connected to your family, but I
right,
mean, like you really want to be like you really want to be like bound, like you really want to be in that unity and that communion with them that really makes a difference in each other's lives.
oh yeah.
That's what I hear. What would you tell people that may be listening to this that don't feel connected to their family right now or don't feel connected to anybody for that matter? How would you tell them, hey, this is important and this is what you can do to foster that, or what that might look like? Or maybe you've been there before and you can share a little bit about how that was for you and how you navigated to a point where you're now choosing that and you really find the importance of that.
Well, I would say like, especially, I mean, I was reading something that a friend from college posted, that every family member except for one family member on like their mom or dad's side is deceased. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is so sad, like, and so to me, it's like, so it was like you saw so many people, because it was around Thanksgiving, so many people saying like, oh, if you need to come over here for Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're more than welcome. So I think just finding your community, like just making sure you have some type of community. It might not be your bloodline family, you might not have kids. Find some, whether it's church, I think that's the perfect way to find a community, is starting there first, like church, or
Yeah.
Pick up a sport, pick up a new hobby, pickleball or something like that. Try to find something that is like, okay, let me find an instant community that I can be a part of, or you start volunteering where you can start, to meet a whole nother different, realm of people too.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. It's finding your community. That's such great information, because you like what one person's community looks like is definitely different from another person's community. But the importance of the term overall is such a big deal. It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Community is it's where we connect, it's where we relate, it's where we find ultimate support. And that you can start in that bloodline family, but it also, I just want to make sure everyone hears, it doesn't have to always be, like you said, somebody that doesn't have family members. It's those people reaching out. Maybe you have that and you need to reach out to somebody that doesn't have that to allow them to come in. Maybe it's the opposite, and maybe you take a step off and you ask somebody, hey, I don't have anybody this holiday, would you mind me sitting in with you? And I would wager to bet 99.999% of the time somebody asks you that, you're going to say absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so important. Oh, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me today about all this wonderful family intentional choosing items because it's important. So
It is.
important.
It is. And if you don't have traditions, start new traditions. Like even like we used to do Elf on the Shelf, and it was like, oh my, and most of the time when you're like, once you're past that, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. Our girls like told us last year, like, we miss Elf on the Shelf. And Karen, I was like, we were so glad to be done with it. So now we've added a new fun way where we make sure when they're both home, we take turns between the four of us of who's gonna be the person, just in case I don't know who's watching this. And and literally we have so much fun with it. So we can't wait till they come home next week because it's like then Bubba and Candy Cane are back. So
Wait, what are your elves' names?
Bubba is Landon's elf and Candy Cane is Lennox's elf.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm
Yeah.
going to go to the attic and get our elf back out. He needs to
Yeah.
come out because I like our kids aren't here and they're
And
usually the ones that the elf comes out for. So the elf needs to come out for us.
yeah, so now you can do it, and then they'll be like, "Mom, what?" But then next, see, now I'll pass the tradition on. Y'all can do that, and they'll think it's so fun, like the stuff that you're like, but you have to guess who did it. Like you don't know who, because you pass it on. Like Pat might pass it on to you, but then you give it to Amanda, and then the next morning you're like, Pat, you did that, and he's like, "Mm-mm."
Nope, not me.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's about creating traditions. And it's about creating that bond within your community or outside of your community and knowing that family runs deeper than just that bloodline. It can run across any choosing that you make and that we deserve to be supported. We deserve to be connected and finding that community. I love what you said. It's finding your community. That's a really big piece for me. So thank
yes.
you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
You
Enjoy
do.
your time with your girls.
You do the same and tell Amanda and Kate I said hello. And hopefully Pat has his own snack stash bag.
More on that later. Yeah, I'll make sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrika. Have a good night.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.